Hello! I have finally gotten around to making a video about Vanguard Saga of Heroes, something I've been meaning to do for a while now. I've actually never made a video like this before, so apologies ahead of time if my commentary kind of sucks. But it's something I really wanted to do because Vanguard is kind of a misunderstood game. For those who know, for those who don't know, Vanguard is a game that came out in 2007. It's 6 years old. It had a lot of hype associated with it, and then it had one of the worst MMO launches in history due to a lot of reasons that I could give you, which a lot of people know. Lack of funding and mismanagement and all that good stuff. But when it came out, it was riddled with bugs and lag and all sorts of nasty stuff, and it lost the vast majority of its player base within a couple months of being launched. There were quite a few people who stuck around past that, and they fixed most of the big issues pretty quickly, but as far as the majority of the gaming community, the MMO community at least, was concerned, the game was pretty much already dead not long after launch, and not many people really even went back to give it another look. There were a number of people that continued to play it, myself included. I was one of the ones that stuck around with my guild, and I think the game is amazing. I've had a great deal of fun for the past 6 years playing this game since launch. A lot of people are surprised the game is still around, but those people are kind of the people who sort of gave it up for dead and never really looked back, and they had no idea what they were missing, in my opinion. This past summer, about 6 months ago, SOE finally made the move and turned the game free to play. Since then, population in the game has increased. A lot more people are trying it out, and I've seen a lot of videos pop up on YouTube with, like, Let's Play Vanguard, or free to play reviews and etc. Which I think is awesome. It's getting a little bit of more attention and whatnot, which I think it definitely deserves. But I wanted to make my own video about it because pretty much all the videos that are out there on YouTube now are from people who have not played the game and are trying it out since it went free to play, which is great. It's great that they're doing that, but at the same time, if the only videos about Vanguard are from people that are new, then it kind of ends up being the same thing every time, and also there's a lot of it that can be confusing, and I find myself watching them and people are having trouble with something or confused about something, and I'm like, oh, it's so easy, you just need to do this, and I can kind of want to communicate with people through their YouTube videos, which of course doesn't work. So I thought I'd make one just to kind of go through the same kind of process, except from someone who's been around for a while and kind of knows how the game is set up, to anybody who watches it that wants to try the game can then kind of have a little bit easier time getting into the game instead of just being confused and scratching their head all the time. Before I get into the game, I'm just sitting here at character select right now as I sort of chat away for the time being. I don't want to bore anybody, but Vanguard it's the kind of game that I like, which is why I stuck around even past launch. It's been described by quite a few people as sort of the last old school MMO. It's really more akin to the old EverQuest feel. A lot of the older games where people, kind of where it's kind of more of a challenge, if you will, or there's not as much hand holding or direction given. You have a lot more freedom to kind of do whatever you want, basically. but not everything is handed to you. Not everything is fully explained. Part of the fun is kind of, okay, well, I want to do this. Now I got to figure out how to do this, kind of. Not necessarily the little things, but you don't get achievements for everything in the game, and there's not a lot of rewards for stuff that are sort of superficial, if you will. It's much more the old EQ style of questing and running around and grouping and EXPing and community meeting people. It's not just a big solo fest all the time. It's a little light on population, which still, compared to the big games like Guild Wars 2 and all that stuff. But it's all about community, and being in a group in this game is very, very beneficial compared to soloing, which is sort of not like a lot of other games, which are really just sort of solo games that happen to be online with other people in them. A lot of people say Diablo 2 is an MMO, and I have no idea where the hell that comes from, because there's almost no community in that at all, other than a big chat room, because you play by yourself most of the time. But this game is sort of the throwback to the old school style, which I find much more appealing than the newer style of game like Guild Wars 2 and all the rest of that had come out recently, which they may look better and be more flashy, and they're fine games. I haven't played all of them, but there's nothing wrong with games like that. But for people who prefer the older style, maybe those people are a little bit older, or maybe it's just a different preference. A lot of them would prefer this kind of game to one of the newer kind of games, but a lot of them also don't know that this game is even here because of its horrendous launch, and it hasn't gotten much press or coverage or any press. Just a lot of people don't even know it exists or still exists. So I just wanted to kind of make a video and sort of get the word out on it. What I'm gonna do is basically do the same sort of beginner levels. I've created a new character here, which you can sort of see. I've made an Orc Ranger because, I don't know, randomness. And I'm gonna kind of go through the starting area, the Isle of Dawn, which was the old tutorial area, which is the same thing that a lot of the other videos do, but hopefully I can put a different perspective on it and kind of show you ways to, things that you might get confused on. I can kind of help people through, and I don't want it to be a huge, go here, do this walkthrough kind of thing, but hopefully I can help make things a little easier to understand for some newer people, help ease the entry into the game. I'm not going to go through character creation, rather, I should say. I've already done that. Level 1 Orc Ranger here, which I made, and I didn't really customize him all that much, but once I created him and logged him in, I just logged him right back out, so I haven't actually played him yet at all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Of course, all my other characters are here. I have quite a few I've played for a long time, but for now I'm just going to do the whole low-level experience, so I'm going to go ahead and log this Ranger in. Get in here. Again, this game, when it launched, admittedly ran horribly, and a lot of people who tried it and ended up not liking it because of bugs and lag and crashes and all that stuff have basically written it off and not even tried it again because of the experience they had the first time. Which, I can't really blame people for, but at the same time I'm like, if you came back and tried it, you'd find it's a lot better. Which I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people won't try it again, but at the same time, a lot of people do, which I think is awesome. As you can tell, that loading time was pretty short for me. I don't have a super high-end machine either, but I have everything on max. And frankly, I think the game still looks awesome. It's 6 years old. It's not running on all the latest technology and everything, but I definitely think this game holds its own graphically. I can't complain about it at all. I still think it looks awesome. I'll just leave it at that. I've never been one to place graphics especially high. I much prefer good gameplay over amazing graphics. So I'm not one of the ones that'll be like, well, the game's good, but the character models suck, so I'm not going to play it. I'm just not that kind of gamer. I much prefer having a good time than what something really looks like. But that's just me. If you're like me, you know, this game has potential for you. If you're one of the ones where non-state-of-the-art graphics is a deal breaker, then, you know, maybe you won't like the game. Maybe you shouldn't even try it. But I just want to kind of get the word out for people who do prefer the older style to come try it out if you haven't. But anyway, enough of that. So first thing I'm going to do, is explain my UI here, because this is not the default UI. So if you watch any of the other videos on YouTube, pretty much all of those do have the default UI, which looks different than what you're seeing on the screen right here. I use a custom UI. I've been playing the game, and there are plenty of custom UIs available to you. They're pretty easy to use. Mine has, I use a lot more hotbars on my other characters, and have a lot more room to make macros and stuff. So in this case, they all look pretty empty because I'm a level 1 ranger who doesn't have that many skills. But I really like the utility of the custom UI, and it comes with its own options, and you can save different hotbar layouts per class and resolution you want, and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And you have, you know, these things up here which don't show up on the default UI, and etc. But I can cover UI stuff in another video if people want it, but just for the meantime. So this is a custom UI. This is not what the default UI looks like, but it still will work the same. Alright, so let's start with this beginner quest. The beginner quests are, of course, really easy. This one just tells you to go find Kiri Tentries, who is right up the road. Actually, wow, there's 1, 2, 3 people who just signed in here. There's quite a bit of activity. I wonder how many people are on. Well, there are more than 40 people on the Isle of Dawn, who all count, which will just give me the total number. Oh, I'm sorry, that's who all in the game. Who count is just in the chunk. 56 players in the Isle of Dawn currently. That's pretty good for a trial area, if I do say so myself. And it caps 200 worldwide, and I know there's way more than 200 people on right now. So the population is not tiny. It's not multiple thousands of people like, I don't know, Guild Wars might reach or something like that, but it is not non-existent, that's for sure. I think the game is doing great right now after free to play. So let's see, our quest takes us to run up here and talk to Kiri Tentries, so we'll go ahead and do that. Turn that one in. Get this out of the way. Non-aggressive NPCs that won't attack you, show as yellow. So we'll talk to her, need to listen to her story about how the hobgoblins are invading the Isle of Dawn and we have to save them, more or less. And then we go talk to Veteran Sixfish, who gets us started on our newbie quests. So again, a lot of the other videos I've seen on YouTube, it doesn't take a lot of them very long to sort of get bored and start sort of wandering around aimlessly, jumping and just sort of running around and kind of trying to figure out what they want to do, because they're bored. And that's the sort of gamer that Vanguard doesn't appeal to, so I'm not particularly surprised that a lot of them end up not really liking the game. But if you're the kind who likes reading the quests and likes, more depth to a game, I think you'll really like this one. So, let's see, Veteran Sixfish, turn that in. Kill 5 Guitaropodlings and get some arms. And collect seeds. Pretty traditional newbie quest, it is the old tutorial area, so things start easy, sort of try to teach you mechanics of the game. So we collect some seeds and we get to kill some Guitaropodlings. The abilities that you start with. Again, in a lot of videos, a lot of people don't even read what these do and just sort of start clicking buttons, which I also don't understand. Sprint, everybody gets sprint. It's pretty self-explanatory. It increases your speed if you have to run away from something. Every race gets a racial ability. I'm an orc, so the orc racial ability increases damage by 10% and heals you for 100% of the damage you deal during that time period. So it's pretty awesome, actually. Rangers start with Stalker's Grace, which is a small buff, which is cool, which I will actually target myself and buff myself with before we start. Gives me 9 dexterity and constitution. Awesome. Nature's Guise, which is a stealth. Sweet. Move that up there. And then Blade of Winter, which is a pretty standard melee attack. So these character sheet, the buttons up here on my UI are really small. On the default UI, they're much bigger and easier to see, and they're down here at the bottom. But mine are up here. Opens up the character sheet, shows you your equipment. This is adventuring equipment, a lot of which I don't have yet, starting at level 1. But you start out with real basic weapons and a bow, and armor that has no stats, etc. Over on the left side here, you have adventuring, which is main stuff. Crafting, which is an entirely whole different sphere of play, and you get a whole different gear for that. Harvesting, which is pretty straightforward. You have harvesting gear, which can increase your yield and stuff. And then diplomacy gear, which is also an entirely different sphere of play, which is very in depth on its own. And I can get into that later too. There's a lot of stuff to diplomacy. But it's one of the more unique features to Vanguard. But it has its whole different, its own set of gear that you can get, and its own leveling. You can be a level 1 diplomat while you're a level 40 ranger and a level 20 crafter all at the same time. And then mounts and appearance gear. So, and the other thing I'm going to do is, because I'm a ranger, I'm going to open my abilities book, which would be up here. And again, crafting and diplomacy abilities, cards for that. And then in the general, I'm going to drag my ranged attack down here so that I can use my bow. So I think it's kind of silly that rangers don't start with the ranged attack on their hotbar already, but they don't for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and use that, and then we'll kill some potlings. I'm not used to making these videos. I'm going to have to drink some water here while I'm making it. My voice is getting a little scratchy. My throat's getting scratchy. Alright, so let's finish these guys up. Oh, okay, let's see. I'm also going to open up settings, and I am going to see I have everything high turned up. This resolution isn't really accurate because I have it in windowed mode to record, because I can stream it as well, so I can't have it full screen. But that's not actually the resolution I'm playing at. That's just what it opens in, and then I maximize it to do full screen windowed mode. But I have everything turned up as high as it can go. And I am going to hide my helm so you can see my cool orcish dreadlocks, because they're awesome. Yeah. Again, combat at level 1 is going to be pretty straightforward. There's not going to be anything amazing. I don't understand how anybody could expect anything amazing at level 1 in an MMO. Now I'm level 2. Nice. finish up these 2 quests. And again, as somebody that's played the game, you know, the first impression of the game is you start with 1 ability and a bunch of empty space on your hotbar, and trust me, the hotbars fill up. There's lots and lots of abilities to use and such in this game. It's not just like auto-attacking and boring. A lot of the people in the videos I've seen have been like, well, this is not inspiring at all. This is boring combat. I'm not impressed. And my reaction is always, well, you're level 1. What do you expect? Oh, I already have those done. I need to just collect more of these. Cool. Okay, there's both of those done. So, another thing to learn early on is your compass, which is on my screen is here up at the top, and I think it is on the default UI as well. This red mark on the compass is a quest marker. It shows you where to go on your current quest. It's currently pointing me toward Veteran 6 Fish. So if I turn this way, the red thing's way over to the side to let me know that he is in that direction. And the closer you get, the bigger it gets to help you find your way. Not all quests have this. Vanguard is not that easy, but plenty of quests do, and all the beginner quests do to help you out. So we'll turn these in, get some sleeves, cool. And he tells us to go train because we're level 2, and we'll get some awesome new weapons for it. These quests are kind of introductions to diplomacy and crafting, which are the 2 other spheres that you can participate in. I'm not going to do those right now. I can show you those later if people want. If I actually get any views on this video. So I'm just going to ignore those for now and just do the adventuring part. I happen to know that the trainer he wants me to go visit is over here on the Isle of Dawn, and the compass is telling me so. A ranger is a light fighter, or an offensive fighter, as opposed to a spellcaster or a tank, heavy fighter, or a healer. So talk to the light fighter instructor, and I'll get my cool weapons. I'm gonna go for the bow.
Are you busy?
Return to Veteran 6 Fish and see what she teaches me. Ranged attack, which I don't particularly need because rangers get a special one, which is Warden's ranged attack, but I'll get it anyway. Drag it off the hotbar here. And then Blade of Summer, which is cool. She's a weapon in flames, dealing 200% weapon damage plus an amount. Deals additional damage if you are flanking the opponent. Cool. You get abilities every other level on the even levels in Vanguard, so again, this one only shows up, well, there's one that's level 16 on there, but this only shows kind of the beginning because it's the Isle of Dawn, first couple levels. But you'll start getting more and more abilities as you level up, and these hotbars really do fill up, and it becomes pretty engaging, actually, combat. So I just picked up a new skill, and I have some new stuff to put on. I'm going to put on some sleeves here, and replace my weapons with the new upgrades. And then we'll go back and talk to Veteran 6 Fish. What does this say? Oh, trainers, yeah. Yep. Drive them back. Oh yeah. Driving back mature guitaros and killing marsh dwellers. Again, pretty simple. I know that this guy has a quest to go get family tools, which he lost, which will get us a ring. Good stuff. The family tools for this quest are actually pretty easy to find. Actually, they're on the compass, since that's the currently selected quest, so you can just follow that and take you right to them. They are right here. There's one down. So now we get to go kill some marsh dwellers and repel some mature Guitaros. So I'm going to do this. Easy stuff. There's some. Now let's see. To repel the mature Guitaros, you have to target them and then right-click this repellent that he gave you. This mechanic happens a lot, right-clicking stuff in the game. We'll kill a Marsh Dweller. Spike shot. That's interesting. Here. Oh, out of range. You can move while casting in this game, which is amazing. Oh, let's see, there's one down there. Two more Marsh Dwellers. Wow, where are all the Marsh Dwellers? I think there must be some more people out here killing. Alright, one more. That should be done. Yep. Okay, so we'll run back and turn that one in. But yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty good example, and you'll start to see in the next couple quests how it's not really just more of the same the whole time. Although I mean, it is a little bit. It's still a fantasy MMO, but there's really just a lot more. Again, it's just kind of that old school feel, which I like, and I know a lot of other people do as well. Turn those and get some bracer. Hey, level 3. Nice. We'll turn this other quest in and get our ring. Well, I know that for a ranger, intelligence is not particularly good. Vitality is not amazing. Strength is pretty good. Strength is melee damage and dexterity is range damage. I'm probably going to go with the dex one for now. Throw that on along with the bracers that we just got. And then we will go find Hermit Hom on Ovis in the swamps. And he is way over that way.